So you've thought about starting a business before, but aren't sure what kind of business to start, right? I remember finding myself in the same place. And so today I'm going to break down three of the primary types of businesses that you might be considering and the pros and cons of each one to help you make a decision on what kind of business you should start. So, first of all, I want to talk about franchises. We've all heard about franchises, right? You're thinking McDonald's, Burger King, Dunkin' Donuts, there's a million of them. So, the good part with a franchise is you're immediately stepping into a well-known brand name. Everybody knows the name McDonald's, right? So you already have this reputation and this credibility, a proven business model, and also support systems in place to help you get your business started. So that's all fantastic. You also have really great long-term profit potential with a franchise. One of the cons of having a franchise is that your annual income as a franchise owner might not be huge, but over the course of time, as you grow that business, it might turn into a multi-million-dollar business that you could then sell and reap the profits when you sell that business. So, realistically speaking, the average franchise earner is only earning less than $50,000 a year while they're building that business. Take some of the top main franchises we're familiar with, say McDonald's. You, as a McDonald's franchise owner, would earn an average of about $150,000 a year. Sounds great. However, your startup cost to get that McDonald's franchise and to get it up and running is well over $1 million, plus the real estate that you now have to find and rent for your location. So franchises can be really phenomenal long-term investment. You walk in with a brand name already well known, downside, startup cost, and potentially a long time to recoup your investment. Now, a traditional business like say a retail store or a restaurant, that's another really great option. And what's really great about that is you would finally get to do whatever it is that you love. Maybe you are passionate about providing the best Italian food to the people in your community. Now you can do that. Maybe you're passionate about providing really incredible gifts produced by local artists. Now you can do that, right? The downside is that having the control of everything you're doing can be overwhelming, right? So as the traditional business owner, unless you hire these jobs out, you are in charge of sourcing product to sell, pricing it, hiring employees, staffing your store, covering all the logistics of getting the products to your location, employee management, human resources, legal requirements, advertising. I mean, oh my gosh, you get to be in charge of it all, which is great if you want to control all that. It can also be super overwhelming. So that's something to consider in the traditional business model. Another positive of the traditional business model is flexibility, right? You're probably starting a business because you have a desire to be more in control of your time and how it's spent and flexible schedule, right? So over time, you absolutely can have that with a traditional business. However, up front, chances are you're going to have to be married to that business for a substantial period of time to get it to be a profitable machine with the right people in place that you can then trust to continue running that business when you're out of the office. So while we think we can have this incredible flexible schedule and work when we want, at the end of the day, you have to be working when your customers want to shop, and you have to be working all those hours, all those jobs until you hire the right people into those positions. So really cool that you get to focus on what you love. You get to be in control 100%. Downside, that might be a bit much or overwhelming. The other downside is that most traditional businesses take about 18 to 24 months before they're turning a profit. So with the franchise, you had a more substantial upfront cost, and your return on your investment time period is going to be longer, of course. With the traditional business, you're still going to have a fair amount of time before you're able to start reaping a return on that initial investment. So absolutely can pay off in the long run. You just have to have that savings aside, or those funds aside, to be prepared to invest in that business for potentially 2 years before you start getting reimbursed. Okay, so the third type of business I wanted to talk about is a virtual business. Now, call me biased, but I feel like it's the best of both worlds, combining kind of a franchise model with a traditional model. So with a virtual business, there's several options. You could sell product, like on a proven vendor site like Etsy or Amazon or eBay, or you can provide a service. Maybe you do editing, or our virtual assistant. You can provide a service through online means. Or you could run an online business where you are selling products, but not products that you've personally created, like you would do on Etsy. So with the virtual realm, you do have the ability to partner with a well-known name brand that has the systems in place, that has the support in place, just like a franchise. Now, you also have the ability to be a little more flexible with your schedule if it's a virtual business. For example, if you're running a retail store, you have to be open during the hours that people want to shop, or a restaurant. You have to be open nights and weekends when people want to eat out. If you are running a virtual business, you can choose to post those products for sale on your Etsy site whatever time of day you want. You can choose to do that copywriting, editing during the middle of the night if those are your best working hours, as long as you meet the deadline for your client, right? So you do have more flexibility with the scheduling of your time if you're running a virtual business. Now, downside of running a virtual business, you don't have a boss, which is a plus and a minus, right? It's a plus if you like to be in control of your schedule and your activities, and you're self-motivated. It can be a real downside if you're not self-motivated, because you don't have someone looking over your shoulder checking to make sure that your work is done. You are the only one who's going to hold yourself accountable to get that work done in the time frame it needs to be done. So being self-motivated can be a pro, it can be a minus, just depending on who you are, and we're all different. So the other thing that can be a real struggle is mindset. If you're running a virtual business, it's not the traditional model that we all grew up seeing, right? It's not what we were taught to do in school or in college, or taught to do by our parents. It's a whole new realm. You might be selling online, you might be selling on social media, you might be providing a service through coaching. It's not the same old that we've grown up with. And so to be successful in that area, you have to have the right mindset. And that mindset can be developed over time with personal development and training and coaching and a mentor, but it's not 100% ingrained or inborn with all of us. It's something that a lot of people have to work towards. So having that mindset of growth and being willing to try something new and out of the ordinary could pay off really in the long run. But it might take some work up front to figure that out and get it right in your head. So another upside of running a virtual business is the investment to get started is substantially less than it is with a franchise or a traditional business. You don't have to secure a location, so you have no real estate to pay for. Utilities, overhead, all of that is not a factor with a virtual business. Plus, you're not having to stock all the products you're going to need to keep your store stocked, or to have all the ingredients to serve your customers at your restaurant. So you can get started with your business for substantially less upfront, which then also means your return on investment, your profitability can come much, much quicker than if you'd had a large investment. Just to kind of recap, franchises, traditional businesses, and virtual businesses can all have incredible upside for you. And especially if you're looking to replace your current income, they are all viable sources to do that. It's probably going to boil down to most what kind of initial investment you're looking at. That's going to rule in or out a traditional franchise. And then it's probably going to come into what kind of flexibility are you looking for immediately, and what kind of profit are you looking for immediately. That's going to help you determine whether or not you can go the traditional route or might want to go the virtual route. So best of luck making your decisions. Would love to know your thoughts down below.